more likely to believe an important local businessman than a foul-mouthed jerk from out of town.
Foul mouth? Fuck you, man.
Worsternauts of Colorado, I would just like to thank you for getting me really stoned on my birthday, again, for the third time in 5 years. You know, out there where shit is free and legal and fun and, just... And also just...
I thought today was your birthday.
They don't call it Mile High for nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the 23rd?
21st, so 2 days ago.
Yeah, I thought I was going to wish you happy birthday, but then I forgot to.
Yeah.
Until you said it.
Because he's stoned too.
Most of the time.
No, but and to the chief worsternaut in charge out there, we had a great time, so thanks for having us. It's a good little party.
For sure.
But, okay, now we're on to serious business. You are now rocking with the worst, with Silvery Plath, Adam Strange, and myself, the foul-mouthed jerk, a.k.a. Valio Iglesias, MC Onion, the rapscallion. Serious biz. Finally, it's official. The news has come down from the high-ups. From high up. Batman does not eat pussy. That is official. From DC,
there's a lot of opinions.
The overlords at DC Comics said not only does Batman not eat pussy, when asked why, they said because heroes don't do that. And I was like, what?
When later asked, I think it's Jeff, whoever's in charge of the DC comic universe, the editor-in-chief, said, let me explain. Not in comic panels. He's like, they also sometimes go to the toilet, but not in a comic panel.
Right, but this wasn't...
But they didn't say sometimes he does it, just not in a comic panel.
Right, they were like, heroes don't do that.
No, what happened?
But you know who does eat pussy?
What happened was...
Catwoman.
Well, what happened was it was with Catwoman.
Batman was supposed to eat Catwoman's pussy.
A Harley Quinn... There's a Harley Quinn show. It's pretty funny. It looks like the old Batman show, like visually, but it's for adults. It's cuss words and
Must
and
watch
F-bombs,
this immediately.
drugs. Oh, it's hilarious. HBO Max has it.
What?
So it's already out.
Yes.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
what's it called?
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
It's on HBO Max. Harley Quinn. It's great. I talked about it a while ago, but when it was coming out still, because I was like going home to watch it, it's really good. You should definitely. The only problem I have with it is I'm not a big fan of Kylie Cuoco. Is that her name? Kaylee Cuoco?
I have no idea.
I don't know. She was on the show about nerds, and she's the blonde one. Okay, Kaylee Cuoco.
Okay.
I don't know who
She was in
is.
commercials with William Shatner, where they were like Priceline, and then she'd come out and say something Priceline, and you'd be like, "She's not a commander of Star. What is she doing with that guy?" But
Okay.
yeah, she does the voice.
Of Harley?
Batman was going to be eating Catwoman's pussy in a flashback. On that show, Kite Man is fucking hilarious. Kite Man is dating Poison Ivy. He's Kite Man. His power is he has a kite. It's fucking great. He's one of the best characters. You'll hate him and then you'll love him.
Right, but hold on.
There was pussy eaten, and they told them they couldn't put it in the cartoon, that could not be in the cartoon. And then when a reporter asked that editor why not, and he said, because heroes don't do that. And then when asked again, he was like, I meant on, we don't draw it. They go to the bathroom too, but we don't put that in the panels.
Yeah, but it's
sometimes
just...
they eat.
That's the... You know what? The cover-up is worse than the crime. Yeah. You know
I
what?
agree.
Zack Snyder said.
You higher-ups probably don't eat puttanesca. And you know what? It goes back to the whole not all heroes wear capes. It's like, you know what? But Batman does wear a cape, and you know what? He eats Catwoman's pussy. I guarantee it.
I think Catwoman also. I think she goes both ways.
Or was it
clearly
Lana
she
Lang?
goes both ways. And then also, you got to imagine that probably Batman... Obviously, everything about Batman, the whole mythology, is about his parental issues from them being killed when he's a kid. Probably has some, mommy issues there. And, he's really... And also, because of the way...
Wait, you think that, he calls her mama in the bedroom?
Oh, I don't know.
No.
But I don't know how that manifests for him, but I will say that he's got a very BDSM aesthetic.
I don't think Batman
and that
talks
in the
bed.
world... No, I guarantee
He's
you.
just fucking...
He uses Christian Bale voice.
Turn around.
This is my cock.
You've seen it through a codpiece for years.
Look at my back cock.
He calls it the cockarang.
No, Batman, I don't expect you to come.
Oh, no. Oh, you think Batman is a bottom man for Bane?
Either way.
Ooh, wow.
No,
No, I don't know how it manifests for him, but I will
Heroes
say
do
this:
that.
he's got a very BDSM vibe to begin with. You know what I mean?
He's got a
But-
cave, a dungeon, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, they all have the different vibes. I mean,
Yeah.
the Joker Harley Quinn thing is.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
Well, she dumps the Joker. That's how the show starts.
this is what I'm saying.
She is with Poison Ivy now.
Harley Quinn is?
Yes. Her and Poison Ivy are a gay couple on the show.
I thought you just said
Sad.
Poison Ivy's with Kite Man.
She was for a little while. She
Nice.
jumps around.
Yeah,
She does
you
her
know.
thing. She's still discovering herself
Okay.
as a woman.
But
Poison Ivy spreads.
Yeah. That was nice. She's a villain, so villains can do all kinds of stuff. But actually, when all this stuff came out, Zack Snyder came forward and was like, the Batman in the Snyderverse, he eats the pussy.
Wow.
So
might-
Harley
he might
Quinn
even
is
eat
no
the
longer
ass.
daddy's little monster. She's mommy's little monster now.
But no, this is what I was saying. As far as the Batman thing goes, like, you know how it is not uncommon for, like, say, because like Batman, yeah, he's got the BDSM vibe, but he's like super aggressive and dominant in the world, and you know how like, and also he's a billionaire. You know what I mean? So probably in the business world, he's the same way, and it's like it's always when you find out the dirty laundry of, you know, people's sexual history. It's like these titans of industry are always visiting dominatrixes, or it's like the cops.
Dude, I bet you Batman has diaper parties.
Yeah, no, that's exactly that. Exactly. Yeah, he's because look, he's essentially
Reverting to childhood.
he's
yeah.
a BDSM billionaire who's involved in law enforcement vigilantism.
I mean-
this dude has diaper party mommy issues written all over.
It checks out.
And you know what? Good for him. Good for the whole situation. I really hope that he's elling the hell out of that cat pee. Cat puttanesca.
Yeah, you can't
It sounded,
say cat
You know what? That
pee.
didn't land. That
That
didn't land that
doesn't.
way.
No.
That CP? I don't know.
I don't know if he's into that.
Yeah, hopefully not. I mean, yeah, okay.
Like Kitty Golden Shower.
Yeah.
What? Hold on, pause the music. What? Dude, we're gonna notice that edit right there. That was sick. Technology is crazy, bro. The editing on this show is bananas. Also, you know, look, I have a high security tiny pit bull in full effect, and you know, this show is very popular. When you know,
I mean,
it's like,
you said she was a good size.
she is. That's all you need in a pit bull. A tiny dynamo. But yeah, I think we got to the bottom of that Batman mystery. But I would also just like to say good for Zack Snyder for coming out and being like, yo, you're not going to fuck up my DC universe. You know what I mean? Or like my... God, you know, who knows if that's some like how he feels, or if he's just like you're fucking up. The
Well, do you
check
think
right
like
now.
Wonder Woman doesn't suck cock? Because that's likely, right? There's no men
Well,
on
no.
him.
Do you remember in the first Wonder Woman movie when they're in the boat leaving the island, and she's like, "Oh, I know all about sex. You know, we've got this book that tells you like 1,000 ways for pleasure." And he's like,
Is it
"But there
penthouse
aren't any
letters?
men there." And she's like, "Yeah, there's only like 10 pages that have to do with doing it with men." He's like, "We have a huge book on having orgasms, and men only involve like 3 pages of this motherfucker."
Yeah.
is what she says basically. So that means they've been eating all kinds of pussy on Themyscira.
Oh, absolutely. I
Just
think
like-
that's
Yeah, but
super
that-
clear.
They could
Well, that
chain
went without
all the way
saying.
around the island of just like
Right, but just because one is into
Human
eating
centipede.
pussy doesn't mean you don't S the D. It just
But
like,
if your
Yeah,
whole
that
book
too.
is about you getting pleasure, then I mean, you're going to
Hashtag
find a
get the
rare
pleasure.
woman that is seeking just solely getting her own pleasure from
Well,
sucking
in
cock.
that last movie, she basically like, okay, this might be the guy I like. He's definitely in a different body, but fuck it, I'm going back to this stranger's apartment and fucking him because she's in bed the next.
oh, you
know,
mean in
like-
'84?
Yeah, they're in bed.
He's not a stranger.
Okay, well, she basically like has sex with somebody that didn't give consent because he wasn't in control of his own body at the
Well,
time.
he wasn't in the body.
So
at
she's
the time.
down.
He wasn't.
clown
Hold on, he
is one.
wasn't in the body at the time.
Wait, are
No.
you having sex with the body or the mind when you're fucking somebody?
Okay, so if
Whoa,
so-
now we
Hold
got
up,
those
hold
options.
up.
No. If somebody takes over my body, okay, that's already number one. That's pretty bad.
But it's their mind and spirit and soul.
Yeah, and I don't want them going around fucking. I don't want to wake up and find
No?
some fucking venereal disease that I don't remember fucking getting. No, I don't. I don't want somebody to take over
Okay,
my
so
body.
what you're saying?
I'm
is,
so sorry.
I'll
Wonder
say-
Woman does not have an STD.
Right now,
I'm
I
sorry.
will say in public, I do not
She
want
doesn't.
anyone to take over my body and go fuck random people. I would not like
Okay,
that to happen.
that is fair.
It's
but
on my
not
list of
random.
no.
It's like her soulmate, bro.
That too. Okay.
Where's your sense of romance?
Well, to that guy who owned that body, it was a random person. Now he gets to meet her at the end, and he's like, "Hey," and she's like, "Hey." She should bang that dude now that he remembers. She should be like, "You know what? You get a freebie."
Let us clarify that this is not only Wonder Woman, but also Gal Gadot, and I don't think anyone's crying in their pillow about fucking Gal Gadot.
No, but hey, it's
I don't care who you are.
Consent is consent.
Right, but I will say that if you want to talk consent, I really got to bring this down on Chris Pine's character.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one who jumped in that guy's body without consent.
But he
But
didn't
then
make the
again,
wish.
Wonder Woman made the wish.
That
She knew.
is
So it's a really gray area.
him inhabiting the body is the most non-consent.
Consent, for sure.
Absolutely.
I got to agree with that.
But her making the wish to bring dead soul back, he didn't consent to that either.
She
Consent,
didn't-
is,
It's
consent
very-
is not an issue back in '84.
It's
First
very
of all-
Pet Cemetery.
She didn't know that's what was going to happen.
No.
A lot of times we manifest things accidentally by not being specific enough. Mm-hmm. And once that happened, then it was like two of them relating. And like, you make wishes all the time by accident,
Yeah.
right? We all do it. We're just not all
just don't
necessarily
generally
as
suffer
powerful.
the repercussions. I agree with you, though, that I feel like Wonder Woman has no STDs, but not
No.
because of any purity.
No.
Like, she's damn near
Experience
invulnerable.
time.
Yeah, that too.
No,
I
she's
think
like,
germs
no,
would just
she's
bounce
no,
off her.
yeah, like
But
she's,
she also lived on that island for so long. I mean,
And she's divine.
yeah, but I mean, like, we're talking,
God.
she had like it only takes one wrong choice to get an STD. It's
it
not like
does,
she
but
had
it's not.
time,
But statistically speaking, if you sleep with one person versus a lot of people, and simply by being sequestered your whole life,
but
just
see-
statistically speaking,
No, but
it's not
that's
about
before-
purity; it's about numbers.
But that was
she
back
slept with
then.
the one dude.
That was hundreds of years
and then she
before
wished for him
84.
to come back, and then he came back.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no.
that's
You're skipping 30
Yeah,
to 1980.
for like 40 or 50
We
years.
don't know if that was 84, but we don't know if in 74 she was in Studio 54.
no, she clearly
going
wasn't.
down on number 24 from
No.
the Giants.
Whoa, dude, he really, I don't know, he
I'm
kind of
just
nailed you on that one.
If
I gotta
if the
say.
numbers rhyme, you write all the time.
She makes it clear.
No, I know.
No,
She's been
that
alone.
she's
She's
been
Part
in
of
love.
her character. I'm not saying that it makes her more anything. I think,
Look, she's a dominatrix. It doesn't mean she's out there smashing all the time, but to assume that just because her
it's
dead,
different.
hold on, just because her true love of her life is passed on, and like we don't know, like did he die at the end of the first movie?
Yeah,
I haven't
his
really
plane went down, I guess.
Okay, so but that's
And it was
50
full of
years.
death.
You can love someone in
50 years.
in the end of, or so 40 something years, like
Well, she could bang someone in that time
the end of World War II is 1945. That second movie takes place in 84, so it's like
because she might have,
she could definitely bang other people in that
she
time.
would have been into
Yeah, but
free
she
love
makes
in the
jokes
60s.
and references that she didn't. And then, like,
okay.
come on.
Yeah,
She grew up in the whole Amazonian thing. All right.
we don't know.
I'm just look. All I'm saying is,
And she doesn't have it because she's divine.
no. I just
Feel
think,
better?
I
Yes,
think
you
that her superpowers would probably protect her from the clap.
If
You know what I mean? Like if
can
she
make
can,
a
if she can
jet
pew,
invisible,
pew, block bullets.
she can make the clap invisible.
Like then she could definitely, I think, the Pudernaska could be like pew, invulnerable, but like pew, pew, like her.
she could make
her,
a condom invisible, and then the dude wouldn't even know he was wearing it.
She has a golden lasso of truth.
Yeah.
After she uses
yeah.
that, she probably ain't fucking anybody.
No, she's yeah, like- or she could be like,
Sorry.
do you have the clap? Do you have the herp? Like, do
Exactly.
you have that house in Virginia? And
Are you
then-
kind of a piece of shit asshole liar? All right.
She probably wouldn't ask that because if she's like, yo, I know the answer to that, and if I can I just need.
I'm sorry, foul mouth. If that
couple-
worked for every woman, then a lot of us wouldn't have STDs. Okay.
Right, I'm saying none of you have magic lassos.
Correct. But if we all just assumed that, you think she doesn't
What,
need
they-
to use her lasso to figure that out?
No. What I'm saying is, like, morally, if I wouldn't like the rest of you, if she's like, look, I just really need to get laid right now. And all I need to know is, like, are you medically safe? Because I guarantee if I find out enough about you, I won't want to fuck you. So she's probably
Wonder
like,
Woman is not settling. I just don't think she's.
you might be right about
I don't
that.
think
I don't
she's
think
settling.
she's settling,
like,
but she might like when she's
you guys
talking
think
about reading the
it's so
book.
powerful.
She might,
like it's
she
you
might
know,
have some other lady go down on her like she used to do back in Themyscira
100.
in a closet at the Louvre back in the 1800s. Or, you know,
Wait, why is she?
she works at the Louvre.
She does work
Yeah,
at the Louvre.
That's
Okay.
that's her job. She's in New York
I
working
just picked
somewhere
a random
different.
location.
No, that's where she is in
I
the
should
Justice
probably
League.
go back and watch these
They show the
movies.
pyramid, and she's in there, and she's like, yeah, she restores paintings, and she's like a Greek. She was in the Smithsonian in '84.
Yeah. I only knew that about her after I was in the Louvre, or I would have felt one step closer to my Wonder Woman fangirl club.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. As long as we're
Louvre.
if we're just talking on the fantasy,
There's an R in there.
yes,
No, I know. I'm just
it
kidding.
is spelled Louvre.
They said
The Lube.
that's what I thought you
Sorry.
said, and then I thought I was wrong. No, he did. He went for it.
All right. So moving from one fantasy topic to another, you guys read about the police union tweeting out about how the Shake Shack attempted to poison 3 of their
I
officers.
honestly wanted to talk about that and forgotten. Those lying fucking piece of shit pigs are
Oh,
all
yeah.
being they're being sued by the guy who they basically went and got shakes. They ordered them on an app. The guys at the Shake Shack didn't know to fuck ordered them.
Yep.
It was an app. So they made shakes. They put them out there. The cops came out, took a sip. Were like, oh, they tried to poison us with bleach.
Yeah.
And then because we're cops and that guy was black, and so then they basically sent cops down there and arrested the dude, harassed the whole fucking place.
They sent and
then kept bothering him.
This is an important part.
Yeah.
When they sent him down, when they went down to arrest him, they brought 20 officers to arrest the manager of a fucking Shake Shack and here's the thing, when they did investigate this, but apparently in the shake machine, they use whatever sanitizer, and it was just poorly rinsed out. And so, yeah, there was a trace amount of this sanitizer in the shakes. But none of the officers who were supposedly poisoned and subsequently
Lied.
did go to the fucking hospital showed no symptoms of being poisoned. Also, threw the shakes away. Like, if you thought that someone had intentionally tried to murder you through poison, you're going to throw away the fucking vessel in which that happened?
If you are a law enforcement officer who is trained on investigations.
Yeah.
Well, the other ones, I guess, that are smarter than them that they tried to report it to went back and got the shake cups out of the trash
Out
can.
of the trash, right.
And the footage of the Shake Shack where nothing fucking happened. That should have been the end of it. They were like, here's the footage. No, we didn't know who these were for, dumbass. We've been make these all day.
Don't you genuinely feel a sense of relief that they clean their shake machine that thoroughly? I was like,
Yeah.
oh, damn.
That part I was surprised
actually,
about.
I felt was like, you know what?
I worked at a Wendy's, and we were not that fastidious. If you had poisoning, it was probably just from the fucking food or the shakes itself.
Right? Like the bacteria.
I just watched a documentary about McDonald's ice cream.
Ew,
Apparently,
it's
it's a thing that they often have their machines broken. And it's so much that people have made websites that track them. And you can go right now and look at this website and see that their machines are down everywhere. Like any town, maybe one McDonald's has the ice cream machine working. Okay, and then the guy did a deep dive. Every place, Chick-fil-A has the same machine. They're never broken. Wendy's, everybody, same machines.
So,
Never broken.
so the theory is that McDonald's just doesn't clean their machines?
Corporate McDonald's took out a contract with this company that they don't have other, like Chick-fil-A doesn't have the same contract, same machine, different,
Right.
so they can fix them themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They can clean them themselves. McDonald's corporate took out a contract, so their franchise people have to pay this company to do it, and it's so expensive that they're like, yeah, we're gonna wait for like 2 or 3 weeks. So like they can't fix them or clean them correctly themselves.
Because it's also like not ice cream. Like it has that like gelatinous weird, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you would imagine that was over time.
No,
like, congeal.
The shakes being real and being fake was actually a point of contention between Ray Kroc and the guys that made McDonald's, and that's one of the reasons that he fucked them out of their entire business, was because he didn't want to use milk in the shake machines. He wanted to use this powder that some chick he was banging was selling through her corporate
and that makes
chemical
sense.
company.
Come on. She put the magic lasso on him, you know what I mean? But no, this is my whole thing though. Even if you
Good pussy buys business contracts,
exactly,
ma'am.
that is true, ma'am. Good pussy gets business contracts, ma'am.
Because of a horny old man, we all had disgusting shakes for years.
Well, okay, yeah, but okay, you can finish the first half of that sentence with pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Because of a horny old man, we had ... Like,
Yeah.
and
We
you
have-
can fill that shit in with anything.
We have the most
good, bad,
the most
all of it.
the most philanthropy in human history. You know, whatever. Jeff Bezos' wife, because he's a horny piece of shit, and the lady he was with, brother, happened to send a photograph to somebody. All of a sudden, this other lady now has billions and billions to give away,
Yep.
and gave away more than any other human in the world like a month ago.
Yeah, you could.
Ever in the history of people, she gave away more in like a week than any.
She's like a real life Wonder Woman.
She
Yeah.
is the magic lasso.
She is.
What?
she-
Did all of us keep referring to her as Bezos' ex-wife? Is that-
Mackenzie, something Mackenzie. I
All
don't
right,
know her
we're gonna
name.
look that up, and we're
I
gonna
know we
give her the
shouldn't- yeah, we
first
should never
official.
use Bezos' name around
No.
her anymore. She's better than him now.
Yeah, she's
She
definitely better
basically
than him.
redistributed the wealth he stole from. He, snuck out of the world.
Yeah, and
Mackenzie Scott.
Mackenzie
okay,
Scott.
Mackenzie Scott, you officially get the first Magic Lasso Award from Worst Case Scenario. It's esteemed. I know.
It sounds
She has a net worth of guess how much?
How much?
400 billion.
Oh no.
I'm just
billion? Did you say
I'm just making up-
400 billion?
I don't know. I'm just making. I don't know how much.
She
they
is
have.
giving out billions like candy, so
She's a net worth of 57 billion.
that's a
Okay.
lot of
It's
billions.
a lot
It is.
of billions.
It is.
Like, I don't know if she's gonna be able to give away those billions, but
It made her the third wealthiest woman in the world and the 21st wealthiest individual overall on the planet.
So that means
But
there's two
with
ladies
the
with more
amount of
billions.
gifts that she's giving,
Yeah.
she might pull that thing like who was it? J.K. Rowling that just would have been a billionaire but gave enough money
Yeah.
away so that she wasn't anymore, just to be like not really down with that. Not that I agree with many
Yeah.
of J.K. Rowling's views.
Yeah.
I'm not plugging her.
yeah, I mean, you do play the plugger every now and then, but
Every Thursday night,
only on the kickball field.
only on the kickball field.
Expelliarmus.
So yeah, kudos to Mackenzie. And
Doesn't that sound like the company Dunder Mifflin's fighting or something, like Dunder Mifflin's main competition, the Mackenzie Scott?
Absolutely.
I don't know why.
but yeah, she gets the first Magic Lasso Award from Worst Case Scenario because that's what billionaires are doing, especially like a top 3, top 21 billionaires. Like, but when, Lord, when does my time come for my recognition from Worst Case Scenario? They're sitting around pining about it. But no, if we can get back to the poison cops for a second, it's
Yes.
just as you pointed out, and I
We
just-
wish, you know what I mean?
I just think it bears repeating that. So the cops who, after the fact, think they get poisoned, never took into and their contention was that they were poisoned because they were police officers,
Absolutely.
but they knew,
and we
they-
all know what they meant.
but because their blue lives matter.
No one's like, what do you mean? Why would someone do that to you if you were a cop? Like, what?
Why
Because-
would they spit in your burger?
How
I've never even
what?
heard of that.
Why would we spit loogies in your pizza? No, but they and also because if we can just, I think everyone at this table knows, like, cops cannot stop jumping on the cross. They always, no matter how many people they shoot, how many beatings they hand out, no matter how many laws they are above, there's
No
still
matter
those people-
how many
They're doing that for
guns they mistake for tasers.
Yeah.
They didn't want to beat that guy up.
How many times they just hit the blue lights just to run a fucking red light. Like, no matter how petty or how big the fucking laws that they just violate in and out and pretend that they have the most fucking dangerous
No matter how
job.
many women they fucking custody because it's legal in like 42 states.
Absolutely.
Drive off a bridge because they're using their computer.
While driving.
That happened on
God.
Jeff Bowen.
Did you see the one the other day when he pulled the chick over and found nude photos in her phone and then he sent them to himself?
No.
Yep.
And she got her phone back and looked through it and found a strange number. And on her own, was she able to determine that it was his phone number that he had sent the fucking nude photos to and left them in the phone as naked photos being sent to himself?
Because she is doing better detective work than this law enforcement professional. So as we know, they just can't get off the fucking cross because no matter what they do to anyone else and no matter how much immunity they have for their own actions, they want to pretend that they're always a fucking victim. But did not have the detective skills. Now, look, not all cops are detectives. Not all heroes wear capes. Not all of them eat pussy. Probably these cops do not eat pussy and don't deserve shakes. But I would feel like you would have enough. It doesn't take, Lester Freeman to figure out, like, oh, wait, we ordered these shakes on a fucking app. There is no way, and they were made before we showed up to the restaurant. So there was no way for the people making the shakes to know, even if they hated cops, even if we wanted to leap to the logic that they hated cops, even if they did, they wouldn't have ever known that these shakes were ordered by cops. And it would really take just a second's forethought to just be like, oh, wait, no, you know what? And think about, it's not just these three assholes who claim to be poisoned. Like, everyone involved, like you said, there was detectives that did go recover the shakes. There was the 20 fucking people that went, the 20 cops that went to arrest him. And then the dude was interrogated. They arrested the manager and interrogated him for several hours.
And then wasn't it like they sort of slowly exaggerated the symptoms of what had occurred? Like for a while they were like, oh, and we were throwing up and diarrhea, but then there was like really no evidence that they ever threw up or,
They were discharged from the hospital without treatment.
The head of the Fraternal Order of Police for New York tweeted which restaurant it was.
Mm-hmm. Also,
that guy that works there, he poisoned one of ours.
Two police unions.
He tweeted that to a couple million, to every cop in New York, basically, that has a Twitter.
Two police unions.
That guy there.
Well, thank you that no other awful repercussions came out of that fucking ignorance and lie. Because how scary.
Well, the main thing is New York police basically say the courts in New York know. So they're just like, you guys should just go ahead and settle this, I'm thinking. So basically that guy won't have to work at Shake Shack ever again because he sued the guy from the Fraternal Order of Police, the guy in charge of that, 3 cops, the guy who filed the charges at the station, and the precinct itself. Like he basically sued everybody, and he's winning at least 3 of those.
But also, I would just like to point out, it was tweeted by not only 2 police unions, but the DEA. And one of the tweets, I believe, this is a quote, I believe, take me with a grain of salt, but it's along the lines of, cops are under attack by people who hate us for the uniform we wear. That just, it just goes on. Honestly, related also, and this is not the same thing, but it does actually just relate to any way that cops can either get on the cross, expand their power, just their immunity to everything. Did you see that when, what was it, last week or the week before, that the January 6th investigation, that's kind of a weak term, but as they've been trying to look into the insurrection at the Capitol, and then basically questions have been asked about why the Capitol Police responded the way they did, and why the FBI, or didn't, and why the FBI, did do what they didn't. Christopher Wray told the Congress that they need to expand the FBI's powers so that they can monitor social media to prevent a January 6th type of attack. Because you can't just look at Facebook pages. You don't need a warrant to look at a Facebook page, and you didn't need to backdoor any fucking DMs or anything like that. But it's just hundreds of people, if not thousands, were posting about the shit that they were planning to do, that they were going to do, that they were about to do, and on Instagram and Facebook Live posting while they were doing. All you would need is just to look at that.
You have to assume that there's somewhere in the fucking FBI headquarters where somebody's like, search this and tell me where it is on social media right now. Some computer where all they have to do is type in one word, and that it'll be here's every single post that contains that.
Absolutely.
I can kind of get to that place, using my own home computer. That's
But not only that,
because they have to be scanning Facebook for fucking terrorist threats all day, every day.
all
and
day.
Like,
If this was jihadi shit,
it's shootings. Like, you know, like you think there enough people have posted right before they went and pulled out a shooting that the FBI has to be scanning Facebook all day.
But again, here's another thing.
They have access to fucking
The
Ring doorbell
FBI,
cameras.
like all of these law enforcement institutions had been alerted by like friends and family of people telling them like, hey, my dad, my uncle, whoever posted this on Facebook and sent that to the FBI and whatever other law enforcement. So it's like, why are you pretending that you need to expand your investigatory leeway and like limit more rights of American privacy for you to have figured out that this fucking thing was going to happen? You were warned. You didn't even, you know what? Even if you weren't the ones surveilling, people came to you with the information, snitched out their own fucking family members, and you're like, I'm sorry, Senator, you're gonna have to expand our powers to like dig up in people's shit. I'm not buying it. I am definitely, and honestly, most of the whole thing where they're trying to expand their powers legally, and using January 6th as the excuse, I don't buy any of that shit.
Well, you know
that's just further leads to COINTELPRO shit, and that shit never leads to fucking investigating, Republicans and people on the more fascist
Well, you know how
side.
they just pulled like there's a vote up right now to end the Iraq war powers.
God,
'Cause we never
damn,
did.
Finally,
you know?
yeah,
But
exactly.
when that came up, I read that a bunch of Patriot Act shit is expiring. You know,
But-
and right now the country has no appetite for it. So like they're not trying to bring it back. So like that could be the FBI being like, because I'm sure they got a calendar that says like on that day we can't look at their library books anymore. You know,
Yep.
like somewhere in there. So they're like, we better start fishing for some new. Because I was just on the way over here, I was just listening to a radio thing about Ring fucking doorbells and how like, you know, the FBI or the local police have access to about 75% of doorbell cameras. So like anytime you're sitting on your porch, if there's other houses facing you, there's a good chance that the police can see you whenever they want to.
Absolutely.
They can just look at that video. It's public domain, or to them. They pay the companies that do it. Amazon being one of these companies.
Okay, so if I ordered one and I hung it up in my house, I may not know that the company that I bought it from
Is selling that
has
footage.
already
Yep.
made an agreement.
Yep.
With local law
you have to
enforcement.
like dig deep
An
on a
IOU.
website to tell them no.
I mean, what
To,
are
like,
you
to opt out.
MOA.
Amazon's also doing that shit right now too with the Ring doorbell and the Echo, like the thing that you say Alexa to.
Right,
Where
yeah.
it's going to share your Wi-Fi with anybody walking by.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get this app that can pick up Wi-Fi, and so like if you're out in the road, and
Yeah,
the main
there's a
thing is
name for it.
They
I can't
already
remember what it's like called, like Umbrella or some shit.
they already
like that,
do
yeah.
it where like if Amazon comes to your house and they're dropping off a package,
Right.
the guy's scanner already it hits your Echo in your house. Like
Mm-hmm.
they talk over like far Bluetooth, and they're like, hey, he's here, okay, cool, you know. And so like
Is that basically
your
so they can
Wi-Fi
prove they
sends
delivered
your Wi-Fi sends Amazon a signal being like, hey, the driver was just there. You know, so like they can already use that. So now they're just like going to spend it out to everybody. And their idea is that if you're a Prime member, then you can have Wi-Fi anywhere you go, which is kind of cool. But it's kind of weird
No,
that
not
I don't
to
want
me,
them
no.
on my Wi-Fi. I pay for that. Like if Amazon was selling us cheap Wi-Fi, that'd be another question. But there's another company that charges me an assload of money to use the internet.
I wouldn't even buy it from Amazon because it's
No, I don't
Well,
like.
yeah, I'm
I
not-
would never get an Echo. Whenever I'm at somebody's
an
house,
Echo,
and they're
an
like-
Alexa,
and they
a
say,
Ring doorbell,
Alexa,
none of that
I'm
shit.
just like you let a corporation have a microphone in your house.
In your house.
You're down with that shit?
That's
Like,
so
I use
insane to
Amazon
me.
a lot, but I don't let them put a microphone in my house.
No, it's just all
No.
insane to me.
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
watch The Boys. I mean, either way,
Yeah.
regardless,
facts.
I'm gonna watch that Boys spinoff that's coming out.
And also, our phones are also listening to us all the time, so that sucks. But yeah, I'm not.
Well, Apple says they're not.
I'm not further volunteering any access of that.
yeah. Where's the golden lasso, Apple?
Yo, Mackenzie, can you help us out with this?
But the
Can
funny
you?
thing is,
She's like, look, if I could have lassoed this asshole,
The only reason
I'd have done it years ago.
I think that Apple might not be doing it because just the idea that like they can make so much money off the hardware. You know, they can. The only reason since they don't have advertising, they don't really need like the information that Facebook wants, they use. They're using that for advertising. Apple is, but Apple doesn't give a fuck. You know, they just go like, hey, we got a new cell phone, and it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to get in line and give them $1,000 regardless of what happens. So
yeah, and also they're going to put a new charger and a new toggle that you need to put your headphones in,
That's
and a
what I'm
new,
saying.
you know,
So
every
they don't-
time like
so
I
they
get them
might-
through work, and I just get new ones, and they're like, but you have to buy this and this and this for. I'm like, oh my god, and that drives me crazy. But at the same time, it was the first time that I opened an app and it said specifically, this app has permission to look through all your stuff. Do you want us to let it or not? And I was like, no, I don't. I mean,
No,
is it true or not? I don't
that's
know,
the
but it
thing
did
is-
feel cool.
I can believe it because if you look at it from a business perspective, like they don't need it, so they can be like, you know what, all of our competitors, you know, are gonna fucking die if we start doing this. Like this is a Facebook killer. Like this is really fucking.
Yeah,
Facebook is only making money off people with Android phones for a while now.
That's
Like,
why Zuckerberg looked so sad in that.
Yeah.
Remember in that hearing about, you know?
Yeah, isn't
he
it
just
that
looked so forlorn.
Apple? It was Apple, right? That basically blocked
Yeah.
Facebook's ability to just rifle through all your shit
Yeah.
through any of their iPhones.
Well, they didn't block. They gave you the option.
They tell
to
you.
block it or not.
So if I pulled up Instagram when I got my new work iPhone, it was like, hey, here's the things that it thinks they have permission to look through.
Your contacts.
Do you want us to continue with that? And I was like, no.
Your
And it just
location.
goes on. Yeah. Contacts, location, my history, my browsing
Yeah,
stuff,
browser
looking at
history.
my browser history and what I'm trying
What
to
you're
shop
looking at
for.
on Reddit. They're like, what is he looking at on Reddit?
Yeah, and it just
It's boobs.
yeah.
How can we sell them boobs? No, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes
They got
they're
that.
super on it with me and sometimes they're way off.
Yeah, but apparently, like statistically, because of the popularity of iPhones, that was like a major, just like bullet to the heart of Facebook's whole ability, and that's why they tried to fight it so hard. And I don't know that. Look, I don't want to paint Apple as some kind of across the board hero.
Oh,
Obviously,
no, I
up-
just said.
right. They're up to their own fuck shit, but
Closed
That-
system.
that move there, I can appreciate. Like.
And it's good for business. Like when you hear that, you're like, okay, I'm happy with my Apple product.
No, and then there was
Immediately,
the-
you know, it's a smart business decision.
What was the FBI going after? It was sometime in the last like 2 years during the Trump administration where the FBI kept demanding that Apple hand over some passwords.
Yeah, it was the shooting in San Bernardino or something where it was like a couple and they had their phones and they wanted to get into them and Apple was just like, no, there's no fucking way we were doing this. No, it will never happen. And they eventually said they did get in, but then there was some other case where like the CIA was like, hey, can we get those keys? And the FBI was like, oh, what are you talking about? You know, so like they don't know. And Apple would basically be like, oh, you got in? Hey, everybody, there's an update available right now. Like Apple wouldn't even fuck around with that. If they knew the FBI got in, you know, Apple has like their next 3 securities in line ready to go. If anybody busts into one of their systems, they have an update tomorrow.
Yeah, it's also weird
That's
to me
their
that
big thing is there's no 0 day with Apple products. Like, you know, that's Microsoft. That's PCs have viruses, not us.
But
We
I
don't.
thought that was like slowly changing. Like someone that I know has an iPhone and someone hacked in and stole all of her Bitcoin stuff out of
Well,
it. And they were
there's- but
saying it's
they
not
were-
as secure as we used to think
hack,
it was.
Hack can also include like social hacking, like getting your passwords or getting your keystrokes or like finding a way in that's not through the code. You can't like no one's gotten through code into an Apple phone except for the FBI said they did. But if somebody did and it was public, Apple would change the code the next day. They would like slam the doors closed.
Okay, so in this
And that's
particular
only for
instance
money.
that I'm
It's
talking
nothing for
about, you're
us.
saying that the person got in somehow through her email or the
Yeah.
app that she was using to buy the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency or whatever it was.
There's apps that can screenshot, and they just screenshot every second. Just like brrrr, so everything you do on your phone is just a
Oh.
video playing to them.
Okay.
You know, and some apps do that. You'll get an app that's like I don't even know, like a plant detector or something silly. Like you look at the stars, it'll tell you what they are, but you didn't read the whole
That's
thing.
not silly. I fucking love that.
No, I'm
It's
saying
like
amazing.
Star Watch is one
it
of
was
my
like
favorite apps.
you know
ever.
personality tests that the company that basically got Trump in had used. I forget the name of that company already, and I'm glad. But there was like that big Netflix did a documentary about it. It was like a British company that and they tested it on Brexit, and they basically had these files of everyone in America.
Right.
Like every single person in America, they had like 300 data points on, and so their whole idea was like, all we have to do is get these 20 people in this one district to vote red, and we can get that state. You know, like they basically micro pinpointed people, and then they would hit that guy's Facebook post every day with like 1,000 fake people, befriend him, and be like, yeah, but you know about those Democrats eating kids, and like that's how, that was a big part of Trump getting in. And it was a brilliant idea for that company. Fucking horrible for us, but.
Yeah, goddamn it. I know the name of that company.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but
and then
it's going to come to me the minute we
one
stop
woman
recording
got
the show.
busted at the end of it, and she tried to be like, I'm the whistleblower. And everybody was like, you got busted.
Yeah,
You were not going anywhere. And there's some other guy that got
You-
fired
No.
early, and he's
You're
like,
a
he
snitch.
was blowing the whistle. And she basically turned on everybody. But they still had that data, and it was illegal, and they still used it for the election, and nobody cared.
Yeah, no, nothing ever got done about that. And you're right. There was a whole fucking documentary made about those people and that system. Who's that? HBO made that?
Yeah. No, Netflix. It was on
Netflix
Netflix.
did?
There's another one that just came out.
Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah,
Woo!
yeah, there you
Didn't
go.
take me until after the episode. I got it. That's the name of the company, Cambridge
That's the
Analytica.
fun. Yeah, and it wasn't British. They just used that name, Cambridge.
Yeah, Cambridge.
To
I
sound
mean, you
more-
immediately are like, well,
Also,
it sounds very academic and
It's
fancy.
very-
so
That's
where Harvard
I would
is. I
trust
mean,
that.
They're smart.
They're probably from
They
Harvard.
wouldn't do this to us because they're smart. Like,
Not
no.
Cambridge.
They are Trump supporters? Cambridge?
I just read this
Also
long article,
ironic.
like a Vanity Fair article, about how the algorithms that all the companies made, like Facebook's algorithms, they basically, and for some reason, whoever wrote all these didn't account for the fact that people are different. And so, like, they basically threw this tool out at everybody that was kind of the same, and it was meant to, like, shape around them, not
I
shape
thought that's what an algorithm is.
shape them. Well, algorithm choices. An algorithm is a basic set of instructions. Like
Right,
if-
but it doesn't
like,
isn't it
enter the
inherently that each
Ingalls,
person is
if you
unique
need-
and that's why
if
we
you need
have
cream,
to like
go left. That's an algorithm. Like it's a set of instructions with lefts and with choices in them.
it's like a choose your own adventure book.
Yeah,
It's like that
100%.
E40 song. That's what it's actually about. Choices. It's about algorithms.
I don't know that song.
But
Yep.
basically, the algorithms don't
Nope.
work.
Oh,
It's
yeah, I
like,
do. Yeah, I do.
After all the study on this, as the algorithms went into effect, the numbers on Facebook stopped. Like, how often you go to Facebook more often now than you did 3 years ago or 4 years ago?
Not on Facebook.
Nobody does.
The only time I
Not
do
on there at all.
Every person on
The
Facebook has
only
used it a
time.
quarter as much now as they did 4 or 5 years ago.
is it because they're irritated by the algorithm behavior?
No, they just don't like it. It's just not as fun anymore, or it's annoying, or I'm tired of the arguing, or I'm sick of the ads. Like there's a million reasons, and
Are they
all come
also
back
doing
to
that with
what's being
Instagram,
presented to you.
TikTok, Snapchat, all the other shit? Like all of them, or
They're
just
all
that
different.
one?
Everybody has their own algorithms, and they're all. And some don't, some do. Some are more just like. And the original Facebook was like, here's a wall. When your friends put stuff up, and people you like will put it on your wall in chronological order.
Right.
How about that? Then they were like, well, how about this? We're just gonna pick random shit and throw it at you. When everybody really liked what my friends were saying and doing. That's all
Everybody
we wanted
really
to see.
liked
And
MySpace.
so
Let's be honest.
Instagram sticks to that.
I mean, I
more.
certainly like Tom more than I like Zuckerberg.
Everyone liked MySpace
Augustus
better.
Zuckerberg.
Right?
Augustusberg.
Well, see, Tom was smart. He got like 500. He got like 50 or 500 million early. Like sold the company to Fox. Then they lost their ass.
Yeah,
They
bounce.
could not run it, and they lost their ass.
It was
when
like
Ju-
you had
and
your
then Timberlake-
background,
and then
you had
Timberlake
like
came
your
in.
whole
Music
setup. It
playing.
was like your room. People come in, they're like, "Oh, this is what she got planned today,"
It was
and like
much
they
better
could
than
just.
Friendster.
It was so cool, man.
No,
it was
it
just
was-
like a way better vibe.
It was definitely like your room
Customizable.
when
Yeah.
you moved into the basement when you were like a junior or senior at your parents' house. You know what I mean? Like it was.
I'm sorry. Then your page must have looked different. Mine was classy as fuck.
I'm
Mine-
just
mine
saying.
was-
It
mine was
was.
covered with my paintings. Everything was a different color.
Yes.
Once I was like, I can change things.
You
on
could put a
this.
whole playlist and make it
HTML.
randomly pop. Like
Yeah.
whoever comes in, like I don't know what song they're gonna get, but it's gonna be good, and like it was
Absolutely.
so much cooler.
They,
I thought
No,
it was
and
awesome.
they put
Also,
in a way to
just-
sell music immediately, like when it was still working. I
Absolutely.
put Little Cities on there,
Yeah.
and that gave me a steady like $7 a week for like a couple months.
I
He
used
was
to listen
caking.
to
Hey,
a
I was getting
friend.
coffee and a sandwich sometimes.
Conceit.
Yeah.
I used to listen to on MySpace. That was the only way I had access to that
Actually,
person.
yeah.
I don't know how I found
Ooh,
him.
shout
I didn't
out
know
to
that y'all were
Sizzlestein
friends with
Immaculate.
him at all. Like this was years ago before I knew you guys, and I would just go on MySpace and just listen to his music. It was just something that I was into, and
He
I
was-
had stumbled upon.
Listen, Consizzle was popping on MySpace.
It was great.
It was
I
like
really
Tom,
enjoyed it.
Conceit, and then whoever else. But also, let me just I get that. I mean, it's even bigger than any of these one things. It's like everything in the internet age is like the idea of it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Has been over. That shit died with the idea of privacy and a bunch of other shit. But as much as they want to retool everything and like just they're just blood sucking. It's just they're sucking the marrow out of every little dollar that they can get. And But to me, it just, like, I understand their motivation, but it seems really intuitive that basically more or less the, like, whether it's the original or just an early model of Facebook, where what you were saying, like, here's who I made friends with, or I linked up with on Facebook because they're actually my friends, or I've actually met this person in the world, and then that's who shows up in your feed. That would be entertaining.
And
like,
celebrities you like, or news organizations.
Like, whatever you choose to like.
The group you like.
Just those things that
But
like.
isn't that what Instagram is?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Instagram is more like that, but Instagram will throw stuff every now and then. Like every fourth or fifth picture will be like, "We thought you might like this."
Oh, an ad.
Or just a picture from somebody you don't follow. I get that
No,
every now.
I don't get that. I only get ads.
I get those a lot, especially if you get to the bottom where it's like, it's, you know, like it was like refresh, no new things in a while. I'm like, bullshit. I got 1,000 friends on this motherfucker. I know they're posting shit, motherfucker. Don't be saying that nobody's posting nothing new.
Well,
but every now and then it'll be like 5 or 6 new posts, and you'll just have a whole chain. I get a whole like 20 in a row of things they're suggesting to me.
No, and not
We'll
only
just
that,
click over
the
to that at the
suggestion
bottom of
thing
their
is
newest feed.
what is a somewhat recent development. Just as far as like, it used to be if just some other person started following me, I would get this notification like, that person followed you. Do you want to follow them back? But then there just started being, and I don't know when this started happening, but they're just
Well, mine's private, so they ask my permission
to
for
be
someone to
followed.
follow
Right.
me, and then I can look at them and see if they're a real person.
Or a creepster. Or,
And if it's just random or whatever,
Or
then
there's
I just say
boobs.
no. And if it's like
but no,
someone that I may know through somebody, I'm like, maybe.
right, but I'm a celebrity,
I also
so
don't
mine
post
is not
it.
private.
It's
So anyone can follow me.
Yeah.
But no, but then I just noticed that they started like dropping into my thing, like, you know, we get the notifications, and it either means someone commented on your shit or somebody followed you, and I'm like, I barely ever post anything on here. Why would there be a notification for any of this shit? And I look, and it's like, this person created an account on Instagram who you might know. Would you like to follow? I'm like, how the fuck would you know if I might know some random person? Like, I don't care who they're linked to. Like, don't send me that
Because
shit.
we
I'm
went
not
we went
interested.
through your contacts.
Exactly.
And we saw this number was used on one of those people's phones.
Absolutely.
I mean, straight up.
Absolutely.
The thing is, Facebook is gonna like slowly. I'm surprised they kept that name when they started buying the other companies and didn't make
and
like
putting that out
Google is
front.
now Alphabet. Like Alphabet owns all of Google's companies.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy stock, you buy Alphabet. You know, which is called Google randomly enough because GOOG is their symbol, whatever. But Facebook, same way. It's Facebook, but they own all these companies.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like fucking, what do you call it? Instagram is definitely right now 10 times hotter than I check my Instagram. I deleted Facebook from my phone. Like,
yeah, but in fairness,
2
do
years
you
ago,
check your
and I will not
Instagram
forget
when you're
that.
not
Delete
taking
your
a shit?
account on Facebook, which is super creepy.
No, I downloaded
You
mine
can't
once.
delete
You ever
it.
done that? You can do that on Twitter too. There's like a button that's like, you want everything? We'll give you everything you ever did right here. Want a zip file? And it's huge, and you just like, boom. I got that and put it in a computer. It's like, if I ever write a book about myself, I'm gonna need like a day-to-day log. So I've already given Facebook my autobiography for free. I might as well have a copy. You know.
But in fairness, can you answer the real questions, which is like, you're like, I check my Instagram all the time. Do you ever check it when you're not taking a shit?
Oh God, no. Well,
Yeah,
you know,
it's just
no.
like Instagram is what you
Sometimes
look at
when I'm
you
fake
take
smoking,
a shit.
if I'm
and
like
then,
hitting my my little nicotine
or
pen
like, you know,
outside,
like
then I might slip
smoke
through it.
break from work.
Yeah.
Taking a shit. There's like 3 or 4 different things, like running my dog out back. Also, but that's also just a cigarette break.
And
You know what I mean?
honestly,
It's like,
honestly, news.
When I feel awkward sometimes.
What, like at a
I
party?
mean, like
or
in
something?
public, and you're trying to separate yourself from actual humans.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
I'll
Fuck
just
yeah.
Absolutely. You're like,
find
oh,
an excuse to look at my phone.
I
I mean,
hate-
I hate to be that person, but I'm being honest. I'm vulnerable.
Right, no, like I
That's
hate
true, though.
socializing
I'll
with
put on
people. I'm gonna
headphones.
look at this app that's about socializing with people.
I'll put
It's
on
not
headphones
about
that aren't plugged
socializing
in.
with people because it's just getting to be an observer. And sometimes when you're an observer, if I could be an observer in social situations and it not make other people uncomfortable, I'm fine to sit in silence. But for
Like
a
a
lot of
peeping
people,
Tom.
that's just very uncomfortable. Call yourself that?
No, I'm saying, you know,
Come
if you do it
on.
from the bushes, then they won't
Say
notice
that
you.
about my
and then you won't
friend
affect you won't
Tom.
affect their you know, because by being there, you're going to alter their behavior. No, joking.
Whoa, that's very physics. He
I
just
was
went
watching Back to the
super
Future.
physical.
Silence between friends can be awkward unless it's a good friend, right? And then it's super normal. But
Yeah.
I enjoy silence with people, and I don't want to come up with shit to fill the space. I know you don't know what I'm talking
you guys
about,
just
but
wanna-
some people do.
Do you guys just want to do that for the rest of the episode?
I get like 3 truckers a night that want to have a conversation. I'm like, take the pallets into your truck and drive the fuck away.
Well, first of
That
all,
is- that is-
A,
that is
they're
the-
on
that is
meth,
our
and B,
entire
they've been
relationship.
alone for
Yeah, I know,
hours.
and that's the thing. I'm like, I'm often nice about that, so I go for a while, but I'm like, I got work, man.
Dude, you'll get no sympathy from me. I'm a fucking bartender. Like, that shit is
Be like, and don't think
so
politics
part
ain't
of the
gonna come
job.
up.
Like, talking to people and pretending like,
Yeah, I'm a social worker, so
oh,
also
yeah.
big part of the
Oof.
job.
Oof.
So when I'm not on the job, that's when I just kind of like to chill. And so I use that as a shield for me. And it's like really shitty because I see other people do that and I'm like, pfft, loser. And then I'm like, oh, it looks just like me. But I have the same judgment that many of us carry. Like I see it and I'm like, you're using it in this way and blah, blah, blah. My own children, you know, I see them do it. I'm like, don't do that. And then I realize, like, I do the same exact
That's why
thing.
I like hanging
escape,
out
and it's just an
with the-
excuse. I don't give a shit what I'm looking at.
The young people at my work, like if we're all out sitting on a break together,
Mhm.
like 4 people just looking at their phones. They don't give a fuck, and it's not even like they don't. It's not even being rude to them.
No,
And
no.
they're having a full-on
It's not being
conversation
rude
with
to
all
them.
3, everybody else out there, but they're reading something else on the side, and
That's
that's
the
just
fun
that's
part.
part of it. So I'm like, I like that because they don't judge me for doing it.
I think that that's part of evolution too. Is that like the amount of like ability to constantly be like multitasking?
yeah.
You know, whether
And your
that's
attention can
positive
be
or negative.
spread.
But yeah,
I
that
think
like
it's a good thing. It'll
to
make
them, they're just like I
our
can be
brains
looking
have
at
more
that and
ability than we
listening to
use.
you and talking about whatever, and also engaging in this and responding to that at the same time. And however that looks for humanity in the future, like I mean, that's what I think they're doing.
Well,
They don't.
Apple's about to come out with glasses, you know.
No,
like,
no,
for real,
yeah.
that-
Hopefully,
and a
people
car.
beat them up the way they did people wearing Google glasses.
It's-
You
I
remember
know,
that
but
shit?
come on, like
It's not. They're not. They're gonna. They're gonna. People are gonna want them.
oh, people are gonna want
They're gonna
them
look
just
right.
like the watches.
The
yeah.
Apple Watch. Yeah. It's gonna be like.
no, hold on. But let's
overlay
not
on
pretend
reality.
that that's the same thing.
It's not the same.
No.
When you remember,
That's why it's a gradual progression.
we did episodes about this. You remember
On
when they
purpose.
first started putting out Google glasses, and then they gave like their employees and other people that were like really on the inside track with them, particularly in San Francisco, Google glasses, and it like let them record anything they were doing, let them look people up on Facebook merely by looking at them and all that bullshit. And people in San Francisco were beating
Oh, yeah.
people's
They were punching
asses
them.
for
They were
wearing
punching
those
Google
glasses in public. Like, are you recording me right now, bro? Bah!
But do you not remember
Anywhere.
when Snap put out specs?
My guys.
Snap, whatever Snapchat, whatever the fuck they are, they put out a pair of glasses that took pictures. Like not
Ew.
2 months ago, and they were ugly. I mean, about 2 or 3 years ago, and they did this thing
Snap is the Snapchat.
where it was vending machines. They just dropped vending machines in major cities, and there were lines waiting for them to come on. And they were
Ew.
sold out instantly. They were ugly as a thing. They were like circular and then had little circles, like almost Mickey Mouse ears on the top. They were weird looking, but they sold the fuck out, and they're gonna happen again.
Right,
And
but-
it's different. People are more used to cameras now, I think. And Google glasses were shit. They had
That's
like
how it works, man. You step by step slowly convince things
And the
to
Snap-
go into the trap that is their demise.
But
Like you
Snap
don't
didn't,
do it all at once.
Snap didn't even have any functions. They just took a picture. It was just glasses that took a picture. They didn't like show you anything. Whereas Google Glass had like a line of green text. It wasn't like Apple's
Yeah,
idea.
no, it
Apple
reminded
is
me
gonna
of
put
the-
Apple's gonna project 3D images into your reality. Like they're gonna be a
Like
thing where-
like
Yeah.
the Oculus and the
Yeah.
VR, that's been baby stepping us.
Yeah.
Although I will say it's like super fun.
where like a 3D object will appear on the table and you can all look at it, like Tony Stark's computers kind of thing,
Oh,
and move it with your hands and shit. 3D
absolutely,
Wait a minute,
all that
so
shit's fucking real
3D
as shit.
sculpting
Because when I
space.
go on the Oculus and I do something for 2 seconds, that doesn't even touch what the capabilities of it are, because I'm not hyper interested. It's like
Yeah.
fun for a minute. It's entertainment for me for a second. And when I see that, I'm like, wow, how someone could manipulate someone's reality. That's unreal, right? Like, it's so much fun in the moment when I look at my hands and they turn into like,
lobster
Remember?
claws.
yeah, like
scissor
and I'm
hands.
doing all
or-
this stuff.
Dongs, giant
I'm not even
dongs.
holding controllers anymore now, right?
Yeah.
The old
Finger
VR
dongs.
was like you still felt like you were in that world where you had to do this.
Right.
Now you put the thing on, there's nothing on your hands. It's still sensing your whole body and creating the whole thing. I mean, it is phenomenal.
But
Yeah, I
what
haven't
you are
used any
saying
of it.
about like projecting images
Augmented
into,
reality, not virtual.
right, augmented, but everyone is aware. Like you're the one that would activate something like that, like what you're saying about the
Yeah.
Tony Stark thing, or like
Other
the
people wouldn't see it. if
saying
they
that it
weren't
would be like the "Help Me Obi-Wan Kenobi" thing. Like
Yeah.
it would be like you turning on, and be like if if we all three have the glasses and I'm like, dude, look at this fucking art project I've been working on, it'll give a projection of that, but we see it as if it's here above the table. Obviously,
but
it's
don't
not.
you
But
think
it's
at
not
some
like,
point someone could? I mean, that's the process.
What, do the tricky
then they
shit?
do
Yeah.
the thing, and
Absolutely.
whether I have the glasses on or not, somehow they found a way for me to
imagine
a
if
hologram
you could,
or whatever that I don't know is not real.
You could go to a business meeting with
Hologram,
somebody.
like
okay?
if I randomly walked in somewhere and it looked completely lifelike.
and Obi-Wan
it was a hologram.
Kenobi was there, and he was like, "Help me, Bo, help me."
Wow, I don't know where that fantasy just went for you, but
You know how I
do
feel about
you,
Obi-Wan.
bro?
He's a greasy bitch.
C3
He's a piece of shit.
C3PO comes out. He's, is there room for a third?
They don't call me C3PO.
I don't
but
know how
Obi-Wan.
this just turned into like a
think
Star
about-
Wars
you were-
virtual reality
you were-
sex fantasy.
You could go to a job
guys are
interview,
weird
okay?
as
And you could
fuck.
put your glasses on, and that guy's not wearing the glasses that's interviewing you. And the entire time, you could have like whatever you wanted. It could be like Kenny Power from the TV show could be humping his head.
Oh man.
And they wouldn't know
Again,
that.
with the-
so you
let's-
could go out to
you
dinner
know.
with somebody, and there could be like a sculpture on the table, and they wouldn't see it, but you'd see it, and they, like just weird shit like that. Like,
But at some point, you'll
so
be able
you could
to
be at a date,
manifest.
and the game would be
you
right
could
here.
create it, and everyone will see it, and they won't know. It will be
Yeah.
a consensual reality that you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
Non-consent
has been-
reality.
You don't
that's
know
the
that
problem.
the person talking to you has a dong smacking you in the face while they're talking to you, and I could just be standing there with a dong back and forth on my cheeks, and I wouldn't know that was happening because that's what the person has in their glasses. Like, hold on, wait, before you
That's
start going.
hilarious. What I'm talking about is like if everybody
Well, I'm like,
is
why are you
seeing the
laughing?
dong on your
Why
face
is everybody
and you
laughing?
think it's a real dong and that's hyper
Yeah.
confusing for you. Like
Yeah.
that's sad. But if only I can see the dong
Yeah,
on
that's
your
what I'm saying.
face,
If you're wearing
fucking
glasses,
yes,
you're
I'm
in a-
all on board.
You're talking to your boss, and the whole time, like whatever you want to happen to your boss is happening in your glasses.
I feel like I can see it right now.
Honestly,
But the
because
idea of the game too, like you're at a dinner and there's the game right behind your date's head. Like somebody would do that. That's going to happen. There's no question. Or they're like, "Are you looking up behind
that's
me?"
already
No.
happening. That's just TV, motherfucker. It's like
That's-
I took you to dinner at a
that's
bar
been
where I
happening.
knew. Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
you,
why I take men to Wild Wing.
at the fancy restaurant with your glasses on, though.
Just
At
kidding.
work,
Right, but see,
at work, that's
I
another
think-
one. Sitting at work, watch like they're not going to know you're watching Netflix.
You're right, but I think there's a middle ground in what you're talking about. Like as far as like if you're sitting in this meeting with your boss and you have the glasses that make you see a dong slap in his face, it's gonna turn into like who you have on the group chat. So like your four homies that are also like your work buddies that are in the meeting with you, like just you four can see the dong slap in your
It's like
boss's
a
face.
modern day voodoo doll.
And then you start streaming, and you're streaming it like, "Hey, turn on my Twitch."
Like instead of a pin in it, you just stick a
Dicks in it.
flopping on it. Oh, this is gonna go bad for the ladies, though. I can tell.
Oh, it always, especially because the
Hold
tech
out,
industry
ladies.
is.
We're gonna diamond hands this situation.
Yeah.
Don't you? Oh, are we done?
Yeah,
We're finito, burrito. All right. Well, yeah. You know what, guys? We did this on the emergency session because we didn't get to give you one last week, and
we felt bad.
yeah, no, and some of us will be going next week. So we're on all platforms now. We're super lit. We can't not drop eps at random. Like that's crazy.
The Supreme Court said it's okay for us to say that fuck word on social media
That is true.
and keep on cheerleading.
And good for you, young lady.
Cheer for life.
Good for you, young lady.
Fuck school.
Fuck
cheer.
Yeah, definitely fuck varsity.
Fuck varsity.
All right. On behalf of the varsity team, Silvery Plath, a.k.a. Yoni Berra, Alicia Silverstone, Paloma Abdul, and my man Adam Strange, the Vice Count, Dirty Finger, Kenny Powerless. Sorry, I just threw that out there right now.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not
Um,
gonna fight it. I don't have the power.
Infidel Castro. I am your host, Valio Iglesias, MC Onion, the Rapscallion, Punani DeFranco, known to the ladies as a named Sugar Cookie. You have been rocking with the worst. This is the worst case scenario because 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 3 wrongs definitely make a worst. Poison Ivy spreads. That's definitely the name of the episode.